Hello, Phoenix Risers. Welcome to my channel. Look at this guy. Look at him. Look, look how chill. Came over here right before I started to record. So I thought I'd let him stay for a minute. He seems to be real relaxed. So let me make sure my microphone's on. Hold on. Okay. So hello, welcome. I wanted to hop on and give a message for you guys. We have some new planetary shifts. We have the Lionsgate portal happening on August 8th. And I wanted to address my last video. If you saw my last video, okay, so there's a couple of errors that I wanted to address that I had in there that are irking the heck out of me. And I blame Mercury retrograde. I mean, I'll take accountability. Bear with me, y'all. My channel's new. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And sometimes it's not always easy to get messages out the way I want to get them out. And I'm making adjustments. Oh, there he goes. I'm making adjustments and just kind of learning as I go too. So if you happen to be the few family and friends and whoever on the front line, then bear with me because this is new to me. This is something that's out of my normally out of my comfort zone, and it's something that I've never done before. However, I've been called to do it because people can benefit from the information that I have. So but it's not something that comes natural to me normally. So it is coming out of my comfort zone and also learning and growing as I go. So be patient with me. Chances are, oh, and keep in mind too that I've mentioned this in other videos, but I'm going to mention it again because I think it's relevant here. When I'm recording these videos, well, first off, it doesn't matter if I'm talking to one person or the world because I have no idea if I am. And so when I'm recording these videos, I'm not talking to anyone and I'm talking to everyone all at once. So if that makes sense. So don't take it personally if you're normally this isn't something that I would address. I am going to address the errors and whatnot, but that I've made on my last video. But because I do have such a small audience at this point, and most of them probably are friends and family, out of love and respect, that's why I'm commenting this now. But um, later down the line, or depending on my followers, I probably wouldn't explain myself like this. um, and and I don't edit, so there's that. But there were a few things on my last video that I want to address, especially because um, it is a really important time right now. Um, I had mentioned, well, first off, I meant one of the things that I want to correct is the full moon, new moon aspect. In the full moon, it's an opportunity to release. And in a new moon, it's an opportunity to bring in. So I mixed that up accidentally. I misspoke. So I'm correcting that. And then also, I really did, I kind of dropped the ball um, when going through the characteristics of Leo. And I feel like it's important to mention because we are a misunderstood sign. A lot of people misunderstand Leos as uh, all the things that I said obnoxiously, but but we're also warm and generous and magnanimous, and also even being bold and fiery and expansive. We can also be very introverted too and kind of reserved. Um, so and sometimes even shy. So it just really depends on the Leo and other aspects of the chart. For example, my both me, my daughter, and my late husband were all Leos, and we're all different, completely different. So my late husband, he had a huge personality. He was very magnanimous and bold, but and me, I was more reserved and kind of shy in that dynamic. So coming on here and doing these videos for me, it's um, it's not only a form of self-expression, which this time invites you to do and encourages you to do with the sun in Leo, and then also with Mercury in Leo. Even with Mercury in retrograde, it's still a great time for creative expression and expressing yourself authentically. So when I say things like when I say things like uh, kind of blunt, for example, you can, if you don't like it, you can get off my channel, period. Yeah. I mean, no offense to friends or family. It's not directed to you. It's not like that. It's not really personal to anybody. It's really just that. It's like another thing about Leos, we don't like to be censored either. So it really is one of those things where are you giving your power away? If you don't like something that's being said, if you don't like something that's being said, or it doesn't resonate with you, what it means is you don't have to watch, you don't have to listen. And that's part of the point of my channel, is to help people authentically be more authentically themselves, and also let go of things that are holding you back, heavy, hurtful, harmful emotions and things that you've been carrying since your birth and your childhood, that are holding you back from experiencing a more enriched life, um, as a conscious creator. So if we're creators of our reality, most of us have been creating unconsciously. Most of us are in jobs that aren't fulfilling, and maybe even in family units that are no longer, that you've outgrown, or are no longer fulfilling, and don't know how to change that dynamic. Maybe some people are stuck and stagnant in situations where they they're just comfortable and feel like, and maybe feel like that's okay, but really just numb to their reality. So it's really, the point of this channel is to really do a service to help people get their power back, take your power back, um, even if that means you piss some people off. I mean, you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody, and I know this. I'm a recovering people pleaser myself. There's been, if anyone who may have known me several years back, maybe 3 or 4 years back, this isn't something that they would have associated me doing, So, but it is something that I've been called to do, and I feel like I do have something to offer. So, but because my channel is new and I am learning how to best get the information that I want to share out, sometimes it could look choppy, sometimes it could sound choppy or unprepared, or I don't know. However it's taken. I'm not, but and I don't edit, so what comes out comes out. And but I will promise this: I will set the intention and do my best to get out clear messages with um, the most accurate information that I can give you. When it comes to some of the esoteric stuff, some of the lesser known spiritual aspects of things, not everybody is going to be familiar with that. Not everybody's familiar with a divine union, or twin flame, or soulmate, or ascension, or 5D consciousness. Some people aren't going to know what these terms and things mean, and that's fine. It's not for me to discern who understands this information or not. It's only up to me to get the information that I know out, so that the people who can benefit from the information and who do know, who or who do know, who who can resonate, I don't know what that was about, but who can resonate with the information, that's who my messages are for. So that's what I mean by, um, if you don't like what's being said, then don't listen, don't watch. It's not for you. And it's not that I don't appreciate the support, um, but that's not the point of my channel. And I don't I'm not I don't have what am I trying to say? I don't have an attachment to the outcome, because my goal is not to be just be seen and get a bunch of subscribers. No, my goal is to get a message across the best way I can to the people who can benefit from it. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps. And also, one more thing I want to address to that is, and this is based off of some um, feedback, I believe. It was kind of cryptic and took some discerning, but if I believe I'm addressing this, and it has to do with softness. And my initial reaction to that, once I read between the lines and realized what it was in reference to, um, my initial response was to be defensive, and not defensive, to think about it. And then when I thought about it and I realized what it was in regards to, my initial response was to be defensive. And then I had to think about it, and I'm like, well, hold on. Why is this triggering me, and where's the truth to it? How could I be perceived as being, not being soft? And um, so here's the thing: when opening yourself up uh, to something like this, especially something that requires you to be brave and courageous and um, accepting of yourself and your flaws, and vulnerable enough to open yourself up to the world, you're going to have a level, you're going to have a level of thick skin to you. And in fact, I had to cultivate that level of thick skin, because so much in my regular life, my normal life, people have taken my kindness for weakness, and not only taken my kindness for weakness, but have trampled over me, and I allowed it. And not only that, but and that's another a Leo thing too. You know, Leos can be quite generous to a fault, and it's not always uh, received as something. It's not always, people aren't always appreciative of it. You know, they just think they're either entitled to your energy or your gifts or your strength, um, and your light, and not give anything back in return. So, you know, that's another Leo attribute, and could be misunderstood. It could be too as misunderstood as Leo's giving to get, and that could be further from the truth as well. Leos give because they enjoy to give. The sun shines because it shines, you know. So um, and also, some people can equate confidence with arrogance, and um, maybe some are. Maybe in some scenarios, in some situations, some may be arrogant. But I would recommend cultivating a level of self-confidence, a level of self-confidence, and recognizing that that's not a bad thing. That's actually a healthy thing, and it's a reflection of your self-love. And self-love isn't selfish. Self-love is absolutely um, necessary in order to even love anyone else. or to be able to show up for somebody else, or be able to accept love from somebody else and know your own value. So that's that. What else did I want to address in that video? Oh, 222. So I combined two things. I combined angel number 222 with master number 222, and those are two completely separate things. So master number 22 is master builder number. My late husband was master life path number 22. And then angel number 222 has to do with um, relationships, alignment, duality. Um, what else? Creative energy, faith, just breadcrumbs from the universe, letting you know, like synchronicities, synchronistic angel numbers, if you see them, um, like 44111, 222, 333, all of these repeated numbers. When you see them often, they're often synchronistic signs that each number has a frequency that means something else. But 222 has to do with things that I just mentioned. And in my last video, I had combined master number 22, life path number 22, and angel number 222. So correcting that. And what else? That's pretty much it. Other than the moon and the full moon issues, issues, um, discrepancies. That's it. So then let's get into. I want to get into some of the energy that's happening right now. Not all of them, but some of the main planetary aspects. And I did write a couple of things down because I didn't want to forget anything or have to come back and do another edit video. So I'm gonna let you guys know some of those, and then we are gonna pull a couple cards from the Radiant Tarot. I may be using this deck for whole Leo season because, all right, and then Ascension Oracle because we're rising, y'all. Yeah, that's right, I said it. We're rising. Or maybe not. Maybe we need to descend, go within to go to ascend, descend to ascend, descend to rise. Okay, and then if we have time, which I hope we do, I'll pull another oracle from Rumi. So let's get into it. What do we have? We have Venus in Cancer, square Saturn and Neptune in Aries still. And I believe those ones are still, Saturn and Neptune are still retrograde. What does that mean? Venus in Cancer, square Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. Well, emotional tension for starters, boundary issues. Some of you guys may have been feeling having issues in your relationships, your close personal relationships. On a grand scale, it's happening. So no, you're not alone. Worries about love and finances. So Cancer is our sign ruled by the moon, and she's very nurturing and caring, very watery, emotional. That's our mother. When you think of Cancer, think of associations related to the home and caring and stuff like that. It's a very feminine, divine feminine energy, and we have Venus there. But because it's squared Saturn and Neptune in Aries, Saturn is our grandfather, discipline, structure, hard work, um, karma. And then Neptune are again our dreamy, watery planet of illusions and dreams, closely related to characteristics of Pisces, and spiritual wisdom and intuition. Okay, so with that energy, with that being said, that requires a lot of patience with yourself and others, um, and empathy too, um, and empathy. And then also self-care. Again, with self-care, like Nine of Pentacles type energy, really needing to uh, maybe even detach, especially, and we'll get to that in a minute with the Grand Trine of that's happening, the Grand Air Trine, you know, and with air, the air suit in the tarot represents, of course, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, and it all has to do with mental processes and um, the way you think and the way you communicate. But it's also a very detached energy, so it could be feel and be kind of cold and aloof and non-committal or flighty, but it's also very intellectual and allowing more mental clarity. So, anyway, we'll get into that though. So, next off, we beginning tomorrow, oh my gosh, August 6th. So, beginning tomorrow, we have Mars moving into Libra. Mars has been in Virgo for a while now. I can't remember how long, but it's been in Virgo for a minute. And now that it's moving into Libra, it's going to shift the energy from our inner, from that Nine of Pentacles, self care, inner world energy to something more. Uh, and keep in mind, we're still talking about in relation to relationships, okay? Because we're talking about in relationships. So now that Mars is moving into Libra, the energy shifts again from your inner world to more of a diplomatic type of. When you think of Libra, you think in the tarot justice, the scales. So Libra tries to balance, and Libra is ruled by Venus, so you also think of beauty and harmony when you think of Venus. So with it being in Mars, in our planet of war, it's more of a diplomatic energy that's going to try to bring and create a little bit more harmony and peace and fairness. It may not be very roses and sunshine just yet or whatever, but um, it'll have a focus on balance and being fair. So um, Mars in Libra. However, August 8th, though. Okay, so all of that dealing with relationship dynamics, it allows for a little more grace too in the relationship dynamics. However, on August 8th, same day as our Lionsgate portal, we have Mars in Libra opposing Saturn in Aries. So what that's going to bring is conflict between impulse and control. Um, Part of you is going to be wanting to break free, and then another part of you is going to probably be holding yourself back, or like feeling like, but I need to get this done, I need to do this, I need to do that. That's Saturn, Capricorn energy. So you may feel a push pull, a kind of a dualistic feel there. You're gonna There's a possibility you may feel discipline, or uh, conflict between discipline and frustration, balancing and tact, or balancing action and with tact, and then challenges with your focus. Your focus may feel blocked. So it may take extra effort to focus, but that's all the more reason why you want to um, get out of the way and get into something creative and do something fun. It's not to escape. That's not the point. The point is to not try to control something that's out of your control, because with these energies that are playing out right now, that are happening in the background, it's kind of like a fated wheel of fortune, the world type beginnings and endings type deal. So a lot of us are clearing up karmic cycles. That's what I mean when I'm talking about beginnings and endings of cycles. Well, part of what I mean. Um, so beginning and ending new cycles. But what's happening right now with a lot of us, at least during this particular time, is a great purge. So that's going to look really differently to everybody. How it's looked for me, how it's looked for me though, is crying. I cry a lot sometimes. Sometimes I don't know where. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere, and I let it, and I let it go as long as it needs to go. Purging can look like having less of an appetite. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about eating disorders and issues like that. That's not what I'm talking about. This is all natural. You don't you may feel like you don't have an appetite for certain foods anymore, or you don't feel like you don't need to eat as much, and that's because your body is purging and trying to get you closer to um, be able to hold this 5D energy, hold the frequency of the 5D energy. So, which, and again, I'm trying to ease my viewers into like more to stuff that I know isn't readily available to people or talked about much, that people aren't going to know about, but I don't want to yet. So it's like trying to just unfold little bits slowly. But so before we start talking about the crystalline DNA and Christ-like consciousness, we're just gonna talk about the 5D frequency and being able to hold that frequency in your body without being destabilized. You have to have a certain level of purity within to be able to hold it, and it takes work, it takes cultivation, and it takes purging. So it could be maybe having stomach issues, stomach issues and needing to use the bathroom more. Okay. Well, I didn't really prepare for all the ways you could be purging, so we're just going to keep going. um, we also have, what else do we have? Okay, so your focus may be blocked. And keep in mind, too, we still have Mercury in retrograde in Leo until August 11th. So that's going to be, that's, that's a given. Um, Mars opposing, Mars opposing, maybe blocked. Okay, so, risks, confusion, oh my goodness, miscommunication. Okay, so this can bring about miscommunication, um, passive aggression, avoidant tendencies, and illusions. So just pay attention to energies in your life that that, or not even just that, come and create illusions, not just that, or but pay attention to, there's also risks of confusion. So just pay attention to uh, how you're communicating. Like I just had to come and make a whole video about my last video. So pay attention how you're communicating, um, and know that those issues could come about with this energy. So expect it and just be a little bit more empathetic and patient. That. All right. So, and then also we have this grand air trine with Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, and that's going to spark this creativity, this mental clarity. Think the Ace of Swords in tarot. So the Ace of Swords is mental clarity, it's inspiration, it's like an aha moment, and it's brought down from source. So it's like being clear enough to receive downloads and information and codes to be able to use to your advantage to create whatever that is for you. All right, and what else? That's all. That's it for the aspects. Um, really, just try to focus on maintaining your peace within. Protect your peace, y'all. Um, Self acceptance is going to be a really huge deal, and that's another thing too. That's why, with my videos, it's like, yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm human too. I'm not perfect. So um there'll be times there'll be videos where I'll make mistakes, or I'll flummox or drop the ball somewhere. And you know what? That's life. That's just gonna happen. So again, take what resonates and leave what does not. And when I have errors, or when I make errors that I know I need to correct, I will be responsible and do that whenever I need to. Okay, so depth, emotional intensity, relational stress, romantic misunderstandings, emotional turbulence. Expect all those things. Actually, we've been dealing with all of those things though. So expect those things to get better, because we have Mars moving into Libra. That should help. All right, so with that being said, I'm so glad, knock on wood, we're doing good on time. I'm gonna pull some tarot for you guys and see what energy right now is supporting you, and or not. All right, and we're gonna try to do this fast because my phone, for some reason, or not for some reason, it just has really low storage. All right, thank you, Spirit. What message do we have for the collective today for their highest good? 3-card spread. Thank you. Okay. Ooh. Thank you, Spirit. One more. Nice. You see? We were just talking about the Ace of Swords. Why the Ace of Swords fly out? Ooh, we got the Devil at the bottom of the deck. 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups came out first. Okay, so interesting. Before I get into the 9 of Cups, I was just saying, I was just telling my boyfriend that Saturn, the energy, and this was like maybe a couple weeks ago. I was like, this energy with is like is like a wish fulfillment. Like Saturn wants to, the universe wants to give you your wish, but in a fuck your feelings kind of way. So it's gonna feel like it's gonna feel terrible, but it's ultimately for your greatest good. Anyway, the 9 of Cups is like your wish fulfillment card. It's emotional fulfillment. Emotional fulfillment. So it's like purifying the waters. If you think of temperance in tarot, temperance is pouring 1 cup from 1 cup in order to alchemize and purify the waters. And that's kind of what's happening right now. We're going through these ascension processes and sheddings of the skin, releasing everything. If you can consciously, that's the whole purpose of this channel, if you can know how and when and consciously work with the energies around you, then you can consciously create easier and better. 9 of Cups, though, is emotional fulfillment. This is using this energy to create what you want, get what you want, and have emotional fulfillment. Queen of Cups, emotional, emotional, emotional. I just had a Kendrick Lamar song coming to my head. um, the Queen of Cups is very nurturing and loving, and also, you see how she normally in the traditional Rider Waite, she has her cup has a lid on it. In this one though, her cup is open and she's kind of praying over it, and it kind of reminds me of memory, like reclaiming your memory. We're getting back so much of what we've lost. So we're actually, the whole point of all of this is so that we can get back more of our power, more of our control, by remembering who we are, why we're here, what our origins are, because we've been lied to our whole lives for generations and generations and generations. And now all of these things that have been lost to us are coming back online. That's exciting. And with this this Ace of Swords, mental clarity, we were just talking about the Ace of Swords, and with this Grand Air Trine, this is brilliance. I'm I'm looking forward to this. But we have the devil at the bottom of the deck. So the devil has to do, and I feel like this is what's happening behind the scenes. It's at the bottom of the deck. This is what's happening behind the scenes, in the subconscious, in the undercurrent, in the undertow. And that's where all of the toxicity, the muck is getting cleaned up, because the devil is rooted deep in all of us, and all of our toxicity, all of our attachments, all of our codependencies, all of our habits, our numbing. That's what this is. Contracts, karmic contracts, those are being cleaned up, cleared. Yeah, that's our tarot, y'all. That's what's happening. Thank you, Spirit. All right, let's pull from. Still doing good on time. I hope it doesn't cut off. That's another thing. That before I could finish our rooming message, the it cut off, and that's all right. But it was going too long anyway. But we're gonna get better at that. Hang in there, or not. May not be for you. All right. Thank you, Spirit. What message do we have for the collective, for their highest good? What guidance? There we go. Mind Garden 11. Can you see that? Mind Garden. All right, let's see what it says. 9, 10, 11. Mind Garden. Sow seeds of love in the garden of your mind, and heaven on earth will be released. Released? Realized. Apparently, I need to learn how to read too in Mercury retrograde. Your mind is your garden, and the seeds planted there are your thoughts. Seeds that are watered are thoughts that consistently play in your mind. These thoughts eventually come into fruition. It can be easy to fall unconscious to inner dialogue and thought patterns. Loved one, your soul is advancing and your vibration is being raised. To help with this evolutionary journey, stay conscious of your thoughts. Cultivate only seeds in your mind garden that you truly wish to grow. Now is the time to tend to the garden of your mind. Water only seeds of love with complete faith and trust. When you do this, your inner garden becomes your sanctuary, and you, a true master. When heaven becomes your natural state of mind, the chaos of the holographic world ceases to disrupt your inner peace. You come to see life as a grand cosmic play that transforms and awakens souls. Within you, there is a deep knowing that all will be played out victoriously. Exercise. Take time out throughout the day to observe your thoughts and your inner dialogue. Are your thoughts in alignment with your highest resonance? Affirmation: I am nurturing the inner garden of my mind with unconditional love and compassion. Beautiful, brilliant. Your energy, your energy is your new currency. Your energy and your frequency is your new currency. Remember that. Protect it. Use it wisely and consciously. Love yourself best. Love yourself first. Kind of like, what the airplane pilot says before, when they do their little demonstration, you got to put your own air mask on first before you go putting others' air masks on. All right. I'm not going to read from Rumi because we're already 40 minutes in, and I feel like it's a great place to stop, especially before my phone runs out of storage or dies or something else. That would then require me to have to edit. So I'm going to leave you there. Keep on rising, y'all. Bye.